We're live in Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York over the next hour, plus we're covering stories out of San Francisco, Washington, London, and Moscow. Here are the top stories we're following from around the world and on the Bloomberg. We start with markets. U.S. stocks in retreat. Equities coming off their record levels, with financials the biggest laggards in the S&P 500. And it is one of the biggest tech IPOs in years. Snap shares soaring in a public debut, but we're asking some of the early startups and their investors how long this positive sentiment will last. In politics, later in the hour, President Trump will deliver remarks aboard an aircraft carrier in Virginia. He's expected to make remarks on defense spending. We've got your full analysis when it starts. As mentioned, U.S. markets, they were on a tear through yesterday, but they've come back a little bit here. Let's check in on where stocks are trading with Julie Hyman. So a pullback here.
Yeah, a little bit of a breather after the big rally we saw yesterday that was the biggest since the election. So U.S. stocks pulling back today. Not a huge.
Now, $25 and change, around 26, and of course it IPO'd at 17. Where do you see it closing, and where do you see it trading in a quarter from now?
Well, value through M&A, it was going to acquire growth in many ways and expand into different areas.
And Kevin, of course, the president coming off a very polished turn in front of Congress on Tuesday evening. Do we expect that tone to carry through in today's speech?
Well, exactly. Let's bring in Robert Levinson. He's a Bloomberg government analyst who covers the defense, because Trump mentioned that this is the...
What does it mean, then, when he says he's committed to a 12-carrier Navy? Where are we now, and where does that put us?
Well, we're really good analysis on the Bloomberg right now from BGov about where...
Is this still a Trump rally, or is this an economic fundamentals-driven rally?
Yeah, I would ask them. It's a retail-driven market right now. Does it concern you at all, or rather, without spinning your answer here, what do you make of a market in which mom and pop are very active again?
Chuck Schumer was outspoken in how Jeff Sessions needs to resign. We also have a statement here from New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman. He says as well that Jeff Sessions appears...
Stocks, treasuries, commodities, silver, gold, oil, emerging markets, corporate bonds, it's all down. And so we're having, if you have a diversified portfolio, today is probably your worst day of the year.
And it's in contrast to yesterday, where this ETF went up, but that was largely on the strength of equities.
Stock. Exactly right.
All right, the market close is next. Take a look at the major averages pulling back from yesterday's record high. I'm Scarlet Fu.
And I'm Joe Weisenthal. If you're tuning in live on Twitter, we want to welcome you.
The one thing that always struck me was that the company's name is Snap, not Snapchat, its most popular app. Does that mean that it's going to move beyond this disappearing app that it made it so popular?
VCs say this is the future of social networking, and then adults and Wall Street people and older
investors, as they look at this company.
A lot of hair on this deal. Hair, that's like one of those terms that people...
What'd you miss? U.S. stocks pulling back from record highs. The Dow losing more than 100 points, 112 points. And in fact, most assets declined.
Everything sold. Great stat from Bloomberg strategist Cameron Kreis. First time since October 20th that S&P 10-year tips, high-yield bonds, euro, Singapore dollar, gold, crude, and copper all selling off on the same day.
The exception was the Bloomberg U.S. dollar index. Or the
Only the dollar, right.
Only the dollar rose. All right. Don't miss this. What's coming up tonight? The China Taiwan in full right here on Bloomberg Television. That's all for What You Missed. Thanks for watching.
Have a great evening. This is Bloomberg.